Hello, I'm Armin Budish. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, what really matters when planning your retirement? We'll help you invest in the most valuable answers. Then, we'll round up the latest medical news. We'll meet a woman who discovered a new self-worth when she improved her smile. Plus, down in the dumps, we'll uncover why older adults aren't immune to depression and what to do if the insurance company raises your premiums.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Would you even know what to put at the top of a retirement planning to-do list? Lucky for us, Rick Nye has already detailed the top 10 to-dos that need to be done as we reach retirement. Rick's the CEO and president of Nye Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Rick.
Thank you, Armin.
So, Rick, we're going to focus on 5 to-dos today, and then we'll do the tail end. Maybe in a couple weeks we'll have you back to do that. So,
Absolutely.
Let's start our list with number 1, create stable and consistent income sufficient to meet our standard of living. How do we do that?
Well, first off, cash flow is king, Armand, with retirees. It's the first thing I focus on when helping my clients get to retirement and then through retirement. Pension decisions are important, when to elect Social Security benefits, how to coordinate both IRA and pension assets with non-qualified assets to create that stable income that is going to be unaffected by the market.
So non-qualified meaning not IRAs.
Non-IRA assets,
You
yes.
would coordinate how to take your IRAs, your non-IRAs, that sort of thing. Which is best first, which is best later.
Exactly.
Great. All right, let's do number 2. Be prepared for unexpected expenses.
Yes, everybody ought to have an emergency fund, and establishing the proper amount of the quote-unquote liquidity. A lot of people would prefer to today to shove it in their mattress based on what the interest rates are earned on money markets. But again, to have a stress-free retirement, in my opinion, you got to have a certain amount of liquidity and know that you can get ready cash if you need it.
Yeah, it's important because emergencies do come up, and as we get older, more come up more often.
Exactly.
All right, now the next one is one that I certainly can relate to as a lawyer, and that is have your affairs in order with wills, powers of attorney, and trusts.
Right, it makes both financial and personal sense to have certain documents in place that should you not be here, your wishes are going to be taken care of. And then there's also the impact of what we would call, and as you would know, living probate. So having folks with authority to handle your financial affairs, should you be unable to, is extremely important as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that their spouse can't even get into their IRA if they become disabled.
Exactly.
Unless they have a special document.
Exactly.
All right, number 4, identify how much you cannot. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Number 4, ensure your spouse will be financially secure should you pass away first.
Right. I like to have my clients take a snapshot. If they were to pass away tomorrow, what would the spouse's income situation be? Would there be a loss of Social Security benefits? Would there be a loss of pension benefits? Again, item number 1, stable income. Objective number 1 does come back to focus on when a spouse passes, what happens to the surviving spouse's income in that situation, and we try to address that before that spouse passes away.
Absolutely. A lot of times the income will be much less when one spouse dies, and you got to be ready for that.
Exactly.
All right, and the last one, which I was skipping to earlier, identify how much you cannot afford to lose and protect those dollars from market risk.
Right, and that's a personal evaluation that happens with each of my clients, based on their risk tolerance. How much? I'll go back to the income again. We want to make sure we have sufficient assets that could provide additional income in the future. And if we have too much in the market and we incur a big loss during a time when we would need additional income, that's something we want to try to avoid.
And you can't control the timing, so if the market goes down when you're ready to retire, you could be in big trouble.
Exactly.
So you got to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Great tips. So Rick's top 5 retirement tips are just the top half of his top 10 list. But don't worry, we won't be left hanging. He'll be back soon to fill in the last 5. And if you need help getting these to-dos done, and to get Rick's top 10 list for yourself, which I would advise, give Rick a call. His number's up next.
To learn more, call the Nye Financial Group Incorporated at 1-800-837-8848 or log on to their website, www.nygroup.com. Next, make yourself at home with health. But first, back in 1916, someone had the nutty idea to hold a drawing competition, and that's when a schoolboy in Virginia sketched an idea that became an advertising icon. Hey, mister, can you tell us which trademark his portrait portrayed? We'll crack open the answer when we return.
They haven't been inducted to a Hall of Fame. They don't get stopped for autographs or photos. They don't have entourages or shoe deals. But they still deserve our applause and admiration because they are fighters, believers, heroes. We are the Metro Health System. We are the proud sponsor of the comeback.
Planters Peanuts tip their top hat to schoolboy Antonio Gentile, who created the nutty Mr. Peanut. Although his character's fame spread throughout the land, his pay for this everlasting inspiration? Peanuts! Only $5 for his winning entry.
If we truly are what we eat, then I must be a Tootsie Roll. But what's the best recipe for a healthy old age for you? Registered dietitian Angela Majorly has the list of essential ingredients. Angela is a licensed dietitian from the Senior Health and Wellness Center at Metro Health. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
This is so important. So as we get older, let's start with how much can we eat as we age without eating too much?
That's a great question. As we get older, our metabolism starts to slow down. Especially after the age of 40, we start to see a decline in our metabolism, which means as a result, we need to eat less. So if we're looking at numbers, very generally speaking, women over the age of 50 that have a sedentary lifestyle, that aren't very active, they need to consume about 1,600 calories per day. And women that are more active can consume up to 1,800 calories per day. For men, it's about the same. Again, if they're sedentary, we're looking at about 2,000 calories per day, and if they're more active, about 2,200 calories per day.
Now, that's very important. Mm-hmm. My wife continues to tell me all the time that I have no idea what calories are and how many there are in something. So she helped me put this together. This is a lunch. This is tomato and cheese, a little applesauce, a cookie, and a milk, which is, for me, about half a lunch, and then orange juice and a muffin for breakfast. That's 1,800 calories.
Right.
And so for dinner, I got to have a glass of water.
Right. And if we're eating out, we really can get into trouble as well, because a simple meal, say at Olive Garden, with a salad, a couple of breadsticks, chicken Alfredo, and a glass of wine, can get you well over 2,000 calories, and that's just dinner. You haven't even had dessert yet.
Wow. So let's talk about some other areas of eating that we have to keep in mind as we age.
So as we get older, our blood pressure tends to rise as well, and it puts us at increased risk for hypertension and for heart disease. One of the key ways we can work on reducing our blood pressure is by reducing our sodium intake. And what we recommend is to keep our salt or actual sodium intake under 2,000 milligrams per day. To give you an idea, I brought a teaspoon. A teaspoon of salt has about 2,400 milligrams of sodium
per day. That's the whole day?
So this is more than what's recommended for
the whole
day.
God.
So truly every
I put more than that on my popcorn.
Yeah, so truly every grain counts. And one of the easiest ways to reduce our sodium intake is to choose fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables over canned vegetables. And I brought a couple of labels just so you can kind of compare
so
here.
This is good.
This is the less favorable choice.
Oh, that's less favorable. Of course, I would guess the wrong one. Okay.
One serving of, say, canned vegetables has about 420 milligrams of sodium, and a serving of frozen vegetables only 15 milligrams of sodium. And then, of course, fresh vegetables wouldn't have any sodium.
Tell me about calcium. Is that something we need to be taking supplements as we get older? What is that?
So our absorption of calcium slows as we age as well. And calcium is so important to prevent osteoporosis. What's recommended for the day is about 1,200 milligrams per day of calcium, and that could be troublesome for folks that are lactose intolerant, since calcium is found in our dairy products. So for those folks, a calcium supplement would be appropriate.
And what about vitamin D? Is that something we should also be supplementing?
Vitamin D is very, very important. Vitamin D we used to just associate vitamin D with bone health and with osteoporosis, but what we know now is that vitamin D is associated with our brain health, with depression, with heart health, with our thyroid, with kidneys.
So take a supplement there too.
So I would recommend a supplement, especially living in Cleveland where there's lots of cloud coverage. We're not synthesizing it as well.
Thank you so much. This is great information that people
Thanks for
don't know.
having me.
Need more help in making over your meal menus? A healthy helping can be found by calling Metro Health's Nutrition Clinic. Here's the number to call, 216-778-7835, or log on to www.metrohealth.org/nutrition. This is important. My thanks to Angela Majorly for serving up such tasty tips while I have a cookie.
Find out more by calling Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or go to www.metrohealth.org. Want more Metro Health medical information? Be sure to tune in to WTAM 1100 each Saturday morning at 7 for Metro Health and You, hosted by Dr. Christine Alexander. Next, what brought a smile to her face? Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. The world's greatest rock and roll band is celebrating half a century. To mark this golden anniversary, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum presents Rolling Stones, 50 Years of Satisfaction. Uncover the true story of the Stones in this exhibit, including the impact of their creativity on our culture. To satisfy your need for more information, call 216-781-7625 or tune your keyboard to this address, www.rockhall.com.
Moms take care of their children from birth to adulthood and sometimes beyond. Yet many moms don't seem to think they deserve some TLC too. It took both Janice Allman's husband and her daughter to convince her that taking time for her teeth was worth it. And now, thanks to dentist Steve Marsh, they all enjoy her new smile. Janice and her husband Tom are here to share just how much care went into her smile. Thank you both for joining us. And
Thanks,
Steve,
Armin.
thank you too.
Thank you.
So let's start with you, Janice. What brought you to see Dr. Marsh?
I was forced. Our daughter went to him first, and she just thought he was super, and she insisted that I should come.
Okay, and Tom, you and your daughter had your work cut out for you.
Yes, we did, because she said no one at her age should waste the money to take care of her teeth, and she says it was just a waste of time. And it took a lot of talking before she did come up, and we were very happy with the great job Dr. Marsh did.
Was there anything wrong with her teeth?
Oh, well, we were very dissatisfied with the work she'd had done by our old dentist.
Okay. Steve, what did you do?
Well, you know, we just had a picture of Janice not smiling, and when I said to Janice, would you smile for me when we originally met, she actually wouldn't open her mouth to smile.
Really?
She had a lot of work over the years, right?
Oh, I've had several dentists, and when we were young married, and went to the first one, I lost my two front teeth. He pulled those, which was unnecessary, and it just got increasingly worse every time I went someplace else. So
what happened? So I wanted to hear the history, and so then we found out what we could save and what we couldn't save. And made sure that they were on board with it, and having a supportive spouse is really important. And so we reevaluated what she had, what she wanted to have, and again, it took convincing from all of us. And we have some pictures, I think we have, to show what we've done with Janice.
Great.
She had had some bridge work. She mentioned that she had lost those front teeth, and you can see on the before picture that's pretty artificial looking, Armand, and that's how things were done in the old days. You had porcelain on metal, and when we took off we knew there was some decay underneath, which sometimes happens. Again, a crown or a bridge is like a window. It has to fit perfectly against the tooth. There was some leakage. You can see where she lost the teeth. You can see some of the darkness, and that's actually what decay looks like to a dentist when you've taken off, in some cases, old fillings and old crowns. That was the prep phase. And so then we talked about how we can restore it. And then you can see now, Armand, that was a long span bridge with all porcelain on the outside. It gave her a beautiful natural look, and most importantly, took away the decay and gave her a smile that now she's proud of, and her husband's proud of, and her daughter, who was, again, very encouraging. And again, Janice was somebody who took care of everybody, and her husband and daughter said it's Janice's turn, so that's what brought her in.
That's right.
Oh, I'm a spoiled brat.
Are you happy with what was done?
Very much so.
They did a fantastic job.
He
from the
was
whole
a
group.
joy to take care of me because he was always joking and making light of everything.
We tried to make it easy, and she even brought in pies for us, which is a
Yeah,
specialty.
he was a
Oh,
good
wow.
But our staff
I
loved
was
having
going to
you.
bring one today, but I didn't. You're going to have to come down and see me.
You're excused. You're excused.
Well, thank you all for coming in. This is wonderful, and it's great that you have such a beautiful smile.
Right. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So when is it your turn to take care of your teeth? As Janice and Tom will tell you, there's no time like the present. So give yourself the gift of a new smile. Call Steve at the numbers coming up. My thanks to Janice and Tom for joining us today.
See what Dr. Stephen Marsh can do for your smile by calling 440-461-1003 or visit www.clevelandsmiles.com. Next, what to do when it's more than the blues. It's time to get up and go, an exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're here to show you how to work the shoulders by doing a lateral to front raise. This is an excellent multi-movement exercise that'll help us strengthen those shoulders. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, we have our dumbbells here. For this one, we're going to be standing tall. We want the dumbbells to be facing our hips as we start. We're simply going to raise them laterally to the side at about shoulder height, bring them right back down to the starting position, immediately bring them to the front, shoulder height, back down to the quad, and then out to the side. Now that was one repetition. We're looking for 12 to 15 here. Slow and controlled movements. Don't arch your back. Don't sway too much. Just make sure you have the weight under control and you're breathing. How you feeling?
It's easier the way I'm doing it.
Yeah, that looks good. Just keep your arms a little straighter. You got it. All right, everybody. Remember to breathe, slow and controlled movements, and you'll have stronger shoulders. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, please send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 23240 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 450, Beechwood, Ohio, 44122.
Travel, hobbies, golf, gardening, we all have a vision of what our golden years will be like. But physical issues and personal losses can tarnish this time, and they result in varying degrees of depression. Psychologist Dr. Thomas McCarthy has seen this firsthand and has developed a unique way to respond. Dr. McCarthy is the founder and president of Psychology Consultants in Medina. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to be here.
So it's easy to understand why an older adult would have feelings of grief and sadness. Isn't that normal?
It is, unless it's lasting for a long time. We all have mood swings. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. But if we are down for a long period of time, it becomes a serious problem.
As we age, we start to recognize our own mortality. We find that our friends are dying off. So you can be down for some period of time. How do you know the difference between normal and not normal depression?
Well, there are probably 8 or 9 criteria that we look at for major depression. And then there's other kinds of depression as well. There's depression that's related to a specific situation. There's depression that's related to your metabolic balance. There's a depression called dysthymia. So there's various kinds of depression.
So what are a couple of the most common signs?
Well, if a person is having a lot of thoughts of their death or suicide, or they don't have any energy or interest in doing any of their normal activities, they're having trouble concentrating, they're gaining or losing weight without trying, or they're sleeping too much or not enough, they're constantly feeling depressed or down. Those are some of the things.
How big a problem is depression, true depression, for seniors, for aging population?
Very serious. We see at least 11% of the people that we see have major depression, and that doesn't even cover less serious depressions that are easy to address and sometimes to resolve.
Is it different to treat seniors who are depressed than younger people who are depressed?
It is very much different in respect to what we call the therapeutic alliance, because people of that generation did not talk to psychologists. They were afraid to discuss their feelings because that meant they were crazy in their mind. So establishing that relationship makes a really key skill and finesse to work with a person who's elderly.
Now, one of the things, many people who are older may have had very traumatic instances earlier in life. We're talking about the group of people that served in the world wars, for example. I mean, they saw things that were terrible. Can that result in depression later in life?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's almost like a flashback from a hallucinogenic drug. It's like it comes on them when they're least expecting it. It's become more known because we talk about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. But then there are other kinds of traumas where people have been abused as a child, women who've been raped and never said anything about it, and they're 80 years old and finally disclosing that kind of stuff to the psychologist.
Is it important that they talk about it to a psychologist, even if it's 30 years later?
Absolutely, because it's affecting them now. It's affecting them now.
All right. And you and your staff work a lot in nursing homes.
We do.
Do the nursing homes call you, or do the people call you?
We are in about 80 homes right now in 15 counties, and we have 30 psychologists that go into those homes each week. And we're under contract to that home so that the physician or the family or the staff will ask us to see someone that they recognize is having some kind of emotional problem.
Great. Well, it's important to bring this information to light. I appreciate your coming on our program and talking about it, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Armand.
Don't let depression rob you or your loved one of the joy that's still to be found in life. Seek help so your golden years can shine. My thanks to Dr. McCarthy for advice that is pure gold.
For more information, call Psychology Consultants Incorporated at 330-764-7916 or click to www.psychologyconsultantsinc.com. Next, have your long-term care costs gone up?
Welcome to Breckenridge Village, a continuing care retirement community conveniently located in historic Willoughby, Ohio. Whether it's a luxury apartment, a spacious ranch home, or newly built brownstones, it's all here with the added security of knowing more care is available when you need it. Breckenridge Village offers an exciting and upbeat lifestyle, and the food is fabulous, and our staff makes you their #1 priority. Learn more about Breckenridge Village and come see our new Veal Wellness and Aquatic Center.
The biggest problem with long-term care insurance is that the company can raise your premiums. That's right. When you bought it thinking that you'd locked in a rate for life. But now the company's telling you that your premiums are increasing, maybe by 50% or 100% or more. What should you do? Here with the short answer to this long-term care problem is my longtime law partner, Mike Solomon. Thanks for joining us, Mike. So, Mike, can the company raise your long-term care insurance premiums legally?
Yes, but not just because of you. In other words, they can't say you're getting older or sicker, we're going to raise your premium. But what they can do is raise the premium on the type of policy you have, and that's in fact what's happening a lot right now.
So what if you can't afford to pay the increase?
Well, you have several choices that you might try to do to adjust your policy to keep the premium, let's say, the same. One, for example, is maybe you reduce your inflation protection. Many people, when they buy a policy, will buy a policy that has, let's say, a 5% inflation protection, so the benefit will increase 5% a year. Maybe you get that reduced to 2 or 3%. That may be you'll be able to keep the premium at the same level.
Okay, that's one good option. Is there another?
Yeah, another one might be, let's say you've bought a policy that's providing a $150 daily benefit if you have to go into a facility. See if you can reduce it, let's say, to $120 a day. That may keep the premium at the same level also.
All right. Is there any third option?
Yeah, a third one might be, for example, you might have bought a policy that provided 5 years coverage, even lifetime coverage. You might consider reducing the coverage to 3 years of protection. That's going to reduce the premium, and again, might be able to keep it at the same level you had.
All right, so you talked about inflation protection, you talked about cutting the daily benefit and the number of years. Which is the best option?
Well, yeah, I can't tell you which one. It really depends on the person, which option or which variety they should choose to reduce. For example, let's say your family has history of staying in a nursing home or a long-term care facility, for a long period of time. Then you probably don't want to reduce the length of coverage of the policy. But it really is a individual fact pattern. You need to look at it. But I can tell you what's the worst decision.
What's
the worst decision probably is to drop the policy completely, because then if you ever need it again, number one, you may not be able to get it, or it's going to be more expensive when you do try to get the policy again.
Good advice, Mike. Thank you very much. Premium rate increases on long-term care insurance is a real problem. If you get a bad news note from your insurance company, contact an elder law attorney to help you figure out which of the strategies is best for you. For more information, give Mike a call.
Call Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.budishandsolomon.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, how do you decide the best age for joining a retirement community? We'll count out the reasons why younger is better. Then, are you making the most of your maximum retirement contributions? We'll volunteer to introduce you to some age-defying volunteers. Plus, if summer plans include fun in the sun, you'll take a shine to our tips for protection. And we have a whole lot more. Until next week, please make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.